CTE researcher and neuropathologist, Dr. McKee. Dr. McKee, I should say, thank you so much for being with us. It's such an important subject for football players, but for so many people whose work or accidents lead them, to have these kinds of head injuries. So first, the question, because following a lot of this over the years, there are football players in the past who have all of a sudden turned violent. Some of them have taken their own lives. Junior Seau, I'm thinking of. Why can CTE lead to violent behaviors, as we've seen in these cases?
So there's a lot of pathology in the frontal lobes, which controls impulse control. It also affects problem solving and judgment. These guys are often depressed. They've got rage behaviors, a short fuse, so just a little infraction makes them go off the handle. And all of these symptoms converge to make them more irrational, more unlovable. It's like Vincent Jackson. He couldn't stay with his family because of, these behaviors that he was having. And then they become socially isolated, which just makes their life even worse. So it's the combination of frontal lobe pathology and its connections that leads to these very serious behaviors in these guys.
It's so sad, Dr. McKee. How can it be diagnosed? Is the autopsy the only way that you really know?
Well, the autopsy is the only way we can definitively know. But we are working, I would say, every day on how to diagnose this during life. And we're getting a lot closer. We've got something called tau PET imaging, where you can actually take a scan of the brain and look for tau in the brain. Right now, it's not good enough. It's not specific enough, but we're working on new markers, new tracers, and as those get developed, they'll get more and more specific for CTE. We're looking at blood biomarkers and CSF biomarkers, and there's new developments every day. What we're doing now is just honing down on the specificity so that when we have this collection of changes, we can be sure that it's CTE. Right now, we can diagnose it or we can suspect it. We can say it's possible. We can say it's probable, but we can't definitively say it's there.
All right, so the NFL, doctor, has instituted new protocols and rule changes, all the fans know it, to help protect players, including penalties for helmet hits. I've got a little boy, he's playing flag football. He loves football. Is there, in your judgment, a safe way to play tackle football, or is that just a game that is too dangerous for the brain?
Well, it's the cumulative small hits that are part of tackle football. It's a collision sport. There's collisions for nearly every player on every play of the game. And it's a cumulative number of hits that turns out to be what triggers CTE. So you can play tackle football, but you'd have to monitor the number of hits each player was experiencing and limit that number of hits to some as yet unidentified number. But right now, we're not paying any attention to the number of hits that are going on the playing field. We're only addressing concussion, which is part of the problem, but not the major problem in football. It's the duration of their playing career or the number of subconcussive hits that is correlated with risk and severity for CTE. And right now, for every year of football, your risk goes up 30%.
Wow. It's a game so many of us love, but not worth what we're seeing in these players. And Dr. McKee, we thank you for your work on this, and thank you for coming here and explaining it to us.
Thank you for having me.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.